This house is real. It sits quiet on a street in Kansas. For decades, people walked through its door and walked out changed. Tenants, investigators, and visitors all left with the same uneasy feeling. Footsteps when no one walked. Cold spots that chilled bones. Lights flickering for no reason. Whispers in empty rooms. Strange scratches on skin after a night alone. Nothing made sense. Nothing was ever proven. But every time someone left, they said the same thing. Something in that house was still watching. If you like real-life mysteries, subscribe now. Atchison, Kansas, sits quietly near the Missouri River. The town is small. Its streets are lined with old buildings. Its history runs deep. On one block, a plain two-story house stands at 508 North 2nd Street. Most people see it as just an ordinary house. But this house is different. This house is known today as the Sallie House. The house was built between 1867 and 1871. It belonged to the Finney family. The first owner, Michael C. Finney, died in the house in 1872. Later, his son, Dr. Charles C. Finney, became the most notable resident. He was a doctor. He treated patients in the house. He used the front rooms as his office. His family lived upstairs. At that time, it was normal for doctors in small towns to work from home. Hospitals were far away. Patients often came to a doctor's home for care. This made the house both a home and a place of healing. But some say it may also have held tragedy. Over the years, the house passed through several owners. For decades, it looked like just another old home in Atchison. Life went on around it. Families lived and left. Sometimes, the house seemed completely ordinary. No strange events were reported for years. Still, the house remained. Its brick walls, its wooden frame, and its rooms once used as a doctor's office stood as a connection to the past. The town changed. Streets grew busier. New buildings appeared. But the house stayed the same. It quietly witnessed the world moving on. Local stories began to grow over time. People whispered about a child. They whispered about a tragic event. Some claimed there was a death that left the house unsettled. Others spoke of shadows, strange noises, and unexplained activity. Nothing was proven. Yet the whispers never stopped. Even before the events that would make it famous, the house had a reputation in Atchison. Neighbors remembered odd sounds. Sometimes, lights flickered without cause. Doors creaked when no wind blew. Small signs. Unexplained. Unnoticed by many. But they hinted that the house held more than just walls and furniture. This is where our story begins. A quiet house. A quiet street. A house built with care. A house that was a home. A house that was a doctor's office. A house that would one day become the center of attention for events no one could fully explain. It stands still today, watching, waiting. Its past is long. Its secrets are many. And its story is only beginning. According to legend, she rushed into the house at 508 North 2nd Street late at night, carrying her 6-year-old daughter. The girl was in terrible pain. Some say she clutched her belly, symptoms of appendicitis. The doctor who lived there, a man named Dr. Charles Finney, agreed to help. He examined the child. He believed an immediate surgery was necessary to save her. The story claims the doctor gave her ether to ease the pain. But before the anesthesia could take full effect, he started operating. The girl screamed. She fought. In panic and fear, she looked at the doctor, not in trust, but in terror. Then, the story says, she died mid-surgery. She collapsed on the table. All hope was lost. That girl, the legend calls her Sallie. Those who tell the story say she died that night. Her last memory, they claim, was of suffering. Her last vision, a man she thought was hurting her. From then on, people say her spirit stayed behind. This tragic origin gave the house a name. People started calling it the Sallie House. But here's the problem. There is no verified record that proves any of this happened. No death certificate. No medical log. No known newspaper report from the time. No registry entry. For all the legend says, the pain, the surgery, the child's collapse, historians and researchers find nothing to confirm it. The archives at the county show no confirmed record of a girl named Sallie dying at that house. Yet, despite the lack of documentation, the story would not fade. Over the years, whispered memories and local lore kept the name alive. Rumors passed from one person to another. Sometimes the story changed slightly. Maybe the child was ill with something else, maybe not appendicitis. Maybe the date was different. Maybe the girl was older or younger. Facts blurred with retelling. Still, the core remained. a child, suffering, a home doctor, a tragic outcome, a young life lost, and a house left behind. This is where the legend meets uncertainty. On one side, repeated telling, widely shared memories, a firm local belief. On the other side, silence in official records. No evidence, no proof. And that clash between what people believe happened and what history can verify is what turns the Sallie House story from comfort zone folklore into something darker, something unresolved, something that invites questions. Because while the legend names a suffering child and a fatal surgery, history stays quiet. The papers record nothing. The traces are gone, but the stories remain, passed down, whispered on cold nights, shared by those who claim to have felt something. And that tension between legend and evidence is where our journey continues. In the early 1990s, a couple named Tony and Deborah Pickman moved into the house at 508 North 2nd Street. They were young, with a newborn baby. At first, everything seemed normal. The house was quiet. The neighborhood was calm. But soon, strange events began to happen. It started small. Lights flickered for no reason. The dog refused to go into certain rooms. Sometimes, toys moved on their own. These were minor things, easy to dismiss. But the activity quickly escalated. Tony began noticing scratches on his arms and legs. They appeared overnight. No one could explain them. Objects moved while people watched. Doors opened and slammed without wind. The couple felt cold spots in rooms that had no draft. Shadows seemed to shift, even when no one was there. Deborah reported hearing whispers when the house was empty. Sometimes, she felt a hand brush her shoulder. Other times, she heard a child laughing, but no one else was in the house. The newborns sometimes cried without reason, even when fed and changed. Terrified, the Pickmans called paranormal investigators. Several teams visited the house. They reported unusual activity. Cameras malfunctioned. Flashlights turned off on their own. Recorders captured unexplained noises. Investigators described cold spots, flickering lights, and sounds that had no clear source. The Pickmans tried to leave the house several times. Each attempt brought more strange events. Some investigators claimed that during visits, shadows appeared in photographs. Sometimes, objects flew short distances. The activity seemed focused on the baby's room and the living room. The case gained national attention. Television crews filmed the house. Reporters interviewed Tony and Deborah. They shared their experiences, claiming the events were real and frightening. Their story spread. People across the country became interested. The house earned its reputation as one of the most active haunted homes in America. Even today, many believe the Pickman events were genuine. Others suggest stress, sleep deprivation, or old house noises could explain some experiences. But the intensity and consistency of the reports kept the story alive. The Pickman case transformed the house from a quiet old home into a place of national curiosity. It became a focus for investigators, paranormal enthusiasts, and media. What happened during those years remains central to the legend of the Sallie House. This chapter of the story shows how real-life accounts, repeated and documented, can shape a legend. The house was no longer just a historical building. It had become a place where people claimed to feel something unseen, something that could not be ignored. And the story does not end here. Even after the Pickmans left, the reports continued. New visitors, new investigators, and new experiences would add more layers to the house's mysterious reputation. After the Pickman case gained attention, the Sallie House became a magnet for investigators and media crews. Paranormal teams visited frequently. They carried cameras, audio recorders, and meters designed to detect unusual activity. Investigators reported strange occurrences. Audio devices sometimes picked up faint voices. These voices sounded like whispers or children laughing, even when no one else was in the house. Cold spots appeared in certain rooms, especially the living room and upstairs bedroom. Temperatures would drop suddenly for no obvious reason. Lights flickered. Electronic devices failed without explanation. Flashlights dimmed or turned off. Some teams reported doors opening or slamming on their own. Small objects moved unexpectedly. Sometimes, cameras captured blurry shadows or unexplainable shapes. Media crews documented the house for television. Shows aired interviews with Tony and Deborah Pickman. They described the scratches, the cold spots, and the unexplained noises. The footage showed empty rooms with flickering lights. Some programs attempted to capture the voices or shadows on camera. Visitors also began sharing experiences. People touring the house claimed they heard footsteps, felt a presence, or saw lights shift. Some said they were scratched or touched by something unseen. These reports added to the house's reputation. Public interest grew. The house became a topic of national conversation among paranormal enthusiasts. Articles appeared online and in magazines. Blogs and websites discussed the history, the Pickman events, and the legends surrounding the child called Sallie. Despite attention, skeptics remained. Many argued that old houses naturally creak and settle. Drafts can cause lights to flicker. Shadows can form in unusual ways. Some researchers suggested that stress and expectation might explain certain experiences. Still, the consistency of reports across decades is striking. Multiple independent teams, strangers, and residents all described similar occurrences. Even if the explanations remain uncertain, the Sallie House became more than a home. It became a cultural phenomenon, a place where belief, fear, and history intersect. By this time, the house was no longer just a quiet brick building in Atchison. It had become a symbol of mystery. People traveled to see it, talk about it, and investigate it. The stories spread beyond the town, making Sallie House one of the most famous allegedly haunted houses in the United States. And the fascination continues today. New visitors, paranormal enthusiasts, and skeptics alike come to the house to see if the stories are true. Each encounter adds another layer to its growing legend. The house remains quiet most of the time, but for those who enter, the possibility of experiencing the unexplained is very real. Even after decades of reports, skeptics continue to question the events at the Sallie House. Historians and researchers point out that no official record confirms the story of a child named Sallie dying in the house. There are no death certificates. No hospital or newspaper reports exist from the time the legend claims. Scientists and engineers explained that old houses often produce unusual effects. Floors settle, walls creak, and drafty windows can cause sudden cold spots. Electrical wiring in older homes can make lights flicker or devices fail. Shadows can appear in odd ways when light passes through cracks or around furniture. Psychologists say fear and expectation can also play a role. People who believe a place is haunted are more likely to notice sounds, movement, or sensations that might otherwise be ignored. Stress and sleep deprivation can make the mind interpret ordinary events as something frightening. Yet, despite these possible explanations, the reports from multiple independent visitors, investigators, and the Pickman family remain consistent. Many claim to have felt scratches, cold touches, footsteps, or seen objects move without explanation. These experiences continue to draw curiosity and debate. Today, the house is often visited by paranormal enthusiasts and tourists. Some take tours. Some conduct investigations. Many share their experiences online. Videos, photos, and personal accounts continue to fuel interest. Even people who approach the house skeptically often admit to feeling unease inside its walls. The Sallie House has become more than just a home. It is a symbol of the intersection between folklore, personal experience, and the unknown. Its story is part history, part legend, and part ongoing mystery. The debate continues. Is it haunted, or are these natural explanations enough? Does the house hold the spirit of a child, as legend claims? Or is it simply an old house with strange sounds and shadows? What is certain is this: the Sallie House continues to fascinate. Its walls remain standing. Its rooms remain the same. And for anyone who enters, the possibility of experiencing the unexplained is very real. The house watches quietly, waiting. Its story is still alive. Its secrets are still hidden. And the mystery is far from over. The story of the Sallie House is a story of history, legend, and mystery. A quiet home in a small town. A house where real people lived and worked. A house where fear and tragedy may have left their mark. Some say it is haunted. Some say it is ordinary. Records are silent. Stories are loud. And for those who enter, the experience is theirs alone. The walls remember. The rooms hold secrets. And the presence people call Sallie may still linger, watching, waiting, unseen. Whether you believe or not, the house continues to captivate. It challenges what we know. It reminds us how little we sometimes understand. And it stands as a testament to the power of memory, legend, and fear. If you enjoyed this story and you want more real-life mysteries, subscribe now. Turn on notifications and join us as we uncover the unknown. The Sallie House waits, and maybe, just maybe, it will watch you too.